Hey, and a good Tuesday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here on the Weather Nerds YouTube channel with the weather report here on your November the 18th, 2025. Well, sorry I couldn't get in here yesterday. Had a little bit of a family emergency I had to take care of with my oldest daughter, and she's doing okay, but getting taken care of. So, family first. Had to take care of that stuff, and we'll just continue on from here and just keep her in her prayers, and I do appreciate it. All right, so anyway, let's talk about the weather here on the weather report. And by the way, if you're new here to the channel and if you like a no-nonsense guy to give you the weather straight and not get all involved in all that social media hype, please consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content. All right, and I'm still fighting a throat thing, guys. I really maybe need to go to the doctor and get it checked on, but I know it's the allergies this time of year. It really bothered me. Anyway, so here we go. We got our highs and lows yesterday. We got Mount Washington was at 5 yesterday, and the Rio Grande Village was 94. Those were our extremes this morning. Get some rain, some decent rains, and some few rumbles of thunder there across portions of Kentucky, Indiana, going into Ohio this morning as we got this system kind of pulling it this way. We got this other system out here on the west coast that's going to be pulling in some decent rains here across the southwest as well. We're going to break all that down for you here, this update, as we take a look at our surface map here. As we're getting updated there, as you can see, definitely wet and rainy here in the Ohio River Valley. It's kind of a cold, damp rain, too. Temperatures in the 30s, just a nasty day. Got some rains down here across the southwest. Phoenix getting some rain down there as well. And not looking too bad here across the southeast. In fact, the big story here across the south over the next couple of days is this big heat dome that's going to be filming over the area. Some record highs potentially there. But the pattern is changing, folks. All indications are we're going to see a major change in the weather pattern going into December. So much colder temperatures moving in. We've had some what they call stratospheric warming up in the Arctic area that's going to dislodge a lot of cold air. We're going to have a highly amplified weather pattern here. And you'll notice that here on the weather when I show you the model data here in just a second. Watches and warnings out there. Get a little fog down here along the Gulf Coast. Here's our system out of the west area, some flash flood watches there across portions of California and into Nevada and into portions of Arizona. Got some winter weather going on there. A couple of winter weather advisories up here, but that's about it here for today. Not looking bad. Let's check out some of that rain there across portions of Ohio and into Kentucky. Definitely looking a bit damp out there for today. Hope folks are just taking it easy. Pretty steady rains too. This is the type of rain I would say is good sleeping weather. You just want to stay inside and listen to the pitter patter of the rain falling out there, but definitely a wet and damp day across this portion of the country. Quick look out in the tropics. They're quiet, folks. Continue to remain that day. We're down to 12 days left in the hurricane season, and we don't have to worry about anything out in the tropics, and that's some good news out there. We will definitely take it. No complaints there. All right, let's go take a look at our model data. We're going to be looking at the NAM 3-kilometer, latest run, 6Z run here as we can see what's going on. Evolution, we got that system pulling out of the Ohio River Valley. That's going to be pulling in the rains here across the mid-Atlantic. A little snows with that as well. And then we got this swirling one taking its sweet time to get going. We are going to see some thunderstorms here. Okay, now right now it's not over the top as far as the severe weather risk here. So I do want to point that out for you. I'm going to break that down for you right now. Let's go check that out. So we got a little bit of thunderstorm threat there to watch. So here's where we're looking right now. All right, so today, day one, that's what we're currently dealing with this morning. But day two, going into tomorrow, right now they only got this as marginal. I still think there's a chance this gets bumped up to at least a slight risk. It's not quite as dynamic as what it was showing last week. Last week, it looked like this might be a little more of a bigger type event. It doesn't appear to be that way right now. But again, this is going into Texas for tomorrow. So we're talking about Dallas, San Angelo, getting on down here to Abilene. So this general area in here. Let's look at the categories here for tomorrow. The tornado threat's not there. Wind damage threat not showing up very high there. And it looks like just the hail threat. So not really looking all that bad right now. So that's some good news there. We will get some pretty decent rains out of this. Day 3, just a general thunderstorm threat on day 3. So we'll see. I still think there's a slight chance we get bumped up to at least a slight risk for tomorrow. We'll see how that plays out. And then, of course, we have to deal with the excessive rain in here too. As the system pulls out of the southwest, we're going to see the heavy rain threat move off toward the east. So there it kind of moves over toward Texas, Oklahoma, coming out of the southwest, and then really kind of expands out this portion of the country. Wait till you see the model data here. Some pretty heavy rains here across Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, and into Missouri coming into your day 3. So we're talking about going in toward Thursday. So we got Tuesday, Wednesday. This is Thursday, day 3, Thursday. All right. So we'll watch that very closely. So let me go back over here to the model data again, as I got ahead of myself there a little bit. My apologies. As we'll watch that rain coming out again. I still think there's some severe weather, maybe a little bit more dynamic there. At least looking at the NAM, it looks pretty impressive there. There's our little low pulling off there. Got another West Coast system coming in here on Wednesday, going into Thursday night. More snows there across portions of California and some portions of Colorado. Denver still is in a snow drought. They have not yet seen snow. We were hoping this system here was going to bring them some snow, and I don't know if they're going to get anything out of this one either. So Denver's snow drought continues out there in the west. Here is the rainfall. Here's your temperature profile here. I'll go ahead and let this load up on in here. Again, cold across the Great Lakes, the Northeast, not bad, but still warm across a big portion of the South. And that ridging is really going to be building it across that area. So we're getting definitely more pronounced spread as far as the highs and lows across the nation. We're going to be definitely noticing that going into the first week of December. But overall, it's not looking too bad here. I'm going to let this loop all the way through here one more time. I'm going to slow this down a little bit so we'll look at the highs and lows here for today. So let's take us out to the afternoon here by 4 o'clock. You see, 60s into Kansas, Missouri, 80s here across Texas. And this is really going to span out here going into your Wednesday and Thursday especially. Overnight lows going into tonight into tomorrow morning. Cold across the Northeast, the Great Lakes, Intermountain region. Look how warm it is across the South. Wow, we're talking 60s into Tennessee. Still holding on to some cooler air across the South. We're in the 30s this morning across North Georgia. We'll be in the 50s tomorrow morning, so big warm up there. And then going into your Thursday or Wednesday afternoon, I should say, still look at it. Got 60s going into Dakota still. Look how warm it is up here. Warm here across the South, marginally chilly across Northeast. It really is not that bad. But again, the real cold stuff, that's coming. That is coming as we go into going into December. Here's your rainfall totals here. Again, this is only 60 hour. This is showing the heavier rains here across Arizona and Colorado, a little bit here across Texas. Some decent rains here we're seeing falling right now across portions of Ohio and Indiana, perhaps up to an inch or so in that area. So we're starting to get a little more coverage than what we were seeing the last couple of days, just a little bit, kind of picking up a little bit. All right, so let's talk about the overall weather pattern here. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly map, okay? We're still watching this, this ridge that is still holding in place. This is what's going to be responsible here, this high, for, I think we're going to see some record highs here across the Southeast going into Wednesday and Thursday, those 2 days. We're still waiting for this thing to kick on out very slowly. So this is for the next couple of days. And then that ridge is just going to hold there. Not going to do much. Has a little disturbance riding to the north that we thought was going to bring some decent rains. It's still holding there going into Sunday. So still looking at that. We're waiting on this upper low to get kicked out. There's some other energy that's going to come downwind from this. That's going to catch that low and pull it on up. They're going to kind of merge their forces going into next week. So look what happens here. They kind of merge together going to Tuesday and Wednesday. Now that front looks like it's coming into the Southeast about a day earlier. So it's a little bit faster. Dealing with an upper level low that kick it out, though, can always be a little problematic. So this looks a little faster. So we got the pretty pronounced jet stream flow there. So again, you got the big dip here coming on down. That's the initial cool down going into Thanksgiving Day now. So it looks like colder weather coming in for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade maybe. And then this pulls out, and then another big trough out there in the west. So we get a big warm up there briefly Monday. Look at this thing. Wow, big jet stream, very highly amplified. But look what happens here as we take this all the way out. It just sits up shop here very long. I mean, seeing that. So we're going to bring some cold air kind of definitely coming in here as that sets up shop across the country. So get ready. Cold air is finally moving in. You guys there in the middle of the country, especially the Dakotas and in Nebraska, they've been dealing with this persistent warmth all fall long. I think you're finally going to get some decent cold weather in there for you people in that part of the country who like cold weather. So it's definitely coming. All right, now let's look at the next 7 days here, or next 10 days here on the model run. They'll take us out to Thanksgiving Day. All right. So a few showers across the Southeast here next couple of days. We're waiting for this upper low. This is the major action here going into Thursday. Again, we got some thunderstorms in with this. We'll see how robust they are as we get a little closer. This kicks on out. Again, fairly weak system. That kicks on out. Waiting for the one behind it. This is the one behind it. This is the one that's going to hook up with that cold air and bring it on south. So we could see some thunderstorms next week as well. So this thing gets cracking. Some thunderstorms on Sunday, slowly pulling out, very slow. So some very heavy rains there across Texas. Okay, it's going to be persistent there. So some very heavy rains going into next week. And then this low finally gets cranking, get some thunderstorms there. Moving on as this thing moves into the northeast and starts dragging down that cold air behind it. So by the time we get into late in the day on Thanksgiving Day, we got this cold air coming on down. Not overly cold. I'd say seasonably cold at this point. A little bit of snow on the backside of this thing. So again, cold air coming and moving on in. And this timing on this could change just a little bit, all right? So this is the first shot. I think we get progressively colder with the shots going into the month of December, all right? Now, you saw that thing get kind of stuck into Texas for a few days. So really lighting up some very heavy rains here on the European on the 10-day total going into next week. So we're talking 9 inches plus showing up there. You're seeing some 3-inch plus, 3-inch plus here. So we got to watch this area for potential flooding across East Texas if that low is very slow to drag on out here going into next week. So that's just something to watch. We'll see what happens with it. Upper level lows can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but we'll see how that goes on. The Northeast, look at some rains there. Looks like the West Coast finally gets to dry out a little bit. They've been getting hammered. It looks like they get a little bit of a break here the next 10 days. All right. Snow-wise, not overly impressive across the country as far as the next 10 days snow totals here. This takes us out to Thanksgiving evening. So, again, not overly bad. Some decent snows across the Sierra Nevada a little bit. Intermountain region, not bad. Great Lakes, not that bad. Canada looks good. I mean, look at this. Wow. We're feet of snow here across the the Alaska Peninsula here, going all the way down and looking pretty rough here. Getting some snows here across Canada and eastern Canada as well. But the continental U.S. not really looking that bad as far as snow is concerned. All right. Temperature-wise, got to track this. This is very important. We got to track that cool down. All right. So warm here this Thursday. Again, record highs across the southeast. Not out of the question, I think, on Thursday. And we're going to stay warm, really. Let's just track the warmth here. Again, the southeast, the yellows, that's your warm stuff. That's 60s, 70s, and even 80s when you start seeing that orange. And then, of course, in the blue, that's your sub 32 degree temperature. So going into Saturday, warm weekend across the southeast, and really not cold across most of the country. Going into your Sunday afternoon, again, a lot of the country pretty warm. Going into Sunday, Monday, no big changes there. No big cold air just yet. We'll start to see some changes there. You start seeing a little bit indications here. Start seeing this up here. Here we go. Start showing that up there. That is coming in, going into Tuesday. All right. Let me turn my thing back on. I apologize for that. Sometimes it resets. I still haven't figured out why it does that, but it does reset. There's your timestamp. There's Tuesday. All right. Let's go into Wednesday. Ooh, boy, we got a lot more purple, a lot more blue showing up on that map there. There's your daytime highs. Look at these in the sub 32 degree temperatures up here on Wednesday. Let's go into Thanksgiving morning. Look at that, a lot more colder air in here. Not over the top cold. I just call this seasonably cold, not really like a real bad Arctic outbreak, but definitely colder. And then your afternoon highs here on Thanksgiving Day, much colder here. Look at the cold air. We don't have any yellows. Look at a lot of the country here. Getting back to a colder weather pattern where you got temperatures here 7 o'clock in the 40s across North Georgia, 40s here across Texas, and see that sub-freezing temperatures there coming into Thursday. So, and then Friday morning, look how much of the country here has got temperatures below 32 degrees. So the cold air is coming. This is the initial teaser. I still think we're going to see progressively colder air than that. Now, with that being said, this is European model, the overnight run. I need to see if it's going to be some consistency here, because right now, from the Climate Prediction Center, the 6 to 10 day outlook, this goes out to the 27th, Thanksgiving Day. You notice it's got it very warm here across the southeast. If the model runs continue to show it coming in earlier, this map will change for next week. So just look out for that, all right? That's the 6 to 10 day outlook. 8 to 14, still holding on to this warmth across the east. So I think if the European model consistency stays there, some of this cold blue is going to move in across the east. So get ready for some changes on this long range model run, all right? Again, all depends on that model consistency thing. The Climate Center is very big on that. All right, 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. A little dry across New England and the West Coast. Like I said, we saw the West Coast finally getting to dry off. We didn't see a lot of rains there in their 10-day outlook there. So that was a good thing for them to dry out. And then a lot of the country looking at above normal precipitation heading out to the 1st of December. So we're getting ready to wrap up the month of November. And everything I'm seeing, every indication I'm seeing out there right now, is that we're in store for a little more progressive weather pattern coming at us. We're going to see colder temperatures in the month of December, and it's going to get a little more wacky, a little more wild with the runs. Nothing unusual. The cold air that's coming down isn't like it's over the top cold. I would call it seasonally cold. And a more dynamic pattern, of course, opens up the possibility for additional severe weather events. I think we're going to watch the one for later this week. Going into Thursday, I think that might get bumped up tomorrow to a slight risk. We'll see tomorrow morning if it changes anything, but we'll got that one. And then we'll see what happens next week with that next system. I think we may have another round of severe weather going into next week to watch across the south as well, Texas into the southeast, because just how warm it's going to be before that colder air kind of filters on in. Again, appreciate you guys checking us out here for this morning. Went a little long. Mick, Edith, good to see you out there this morning. And I apologize for not getting on here yesterday. Like I said, I had to take care of family. It's amazing when you don't post every day, they let you know up there. You lose subscribers if you don't post every day. So I apologize for that. Anyway, you guys take it easy. If you can stay safe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next update. And we'll see if that little shift in the arrival of cold air in the east holds true when I look at the afternoon update today, and then of course tomorrow morning's update as well. Again, look for that model consistency.